Let us have a story time, shall we? I don't condone anything spoken of in this video, but if you choose to go out of your way and do any of this, it's out of my hands. Hey, but I want to tell you about this one time I tripped on mushrooms, and for context, my boy Jolo, yo, he was skipping school that day, and he was like, do you mind if I come over? And I was like, I don't suggest it. I'm like, there's no way to pick you up from the train, right? So you're just gonna have to kind of haul ass over here from the train station, which is like low-key a 3-mile walk. But he committed, and it was cold as fuck that day. So he comes over, and the day before that, he was asking, yo, can I try Xanax? Can I try Xanax? Because I was on heavy Xanax around that time, and I was like, no, I'm not giving you Xanax. I'm like, that shit ruined my life. I'm not gonna let Xanax touch yours. We came over, and we ended up just tripping on mushrooms. We're just chilling as the mushrooms are starting to kick in, just listening to music. But I am gonna tell you that mushrooms aren't something you just do to have fun all willy-nilly, like, oh yeah, let's do mushrooms, ha ha ha. No, they're a spiritual tool that will lead you to spiritual growth. And so they're gonna show you things that you need to work on, and it's up to you to choose whether or not you're gonna listen to what they're telling you, or you're just gonna disregard it and crumble. You gotta pick one. So me, I'm on mushrooms, and my frequency is rising and rising, and the mushrooms are showing me things that I'm doing wrong that I could be working on, and I'm just looking at it at face value, and I'm making the choice to just do better from there on out. Jolo, on the other hand, he's being presented with whatever is bothering him and holding him down. The frequency in the room would rise and rise and rise and rise as the trip got more intense, and then all of a sudden there would be a roadblock, and Jolo would be faced with something that was a challenge in his life, and the frequency in the room would drop and it would become heavy. Me being a goated trip sitter who's also on mushrooms, I started telling Jolo things about his situation and his family that only him and his family would know. And then he's like, how did you know that? I'm like, they told me. Well, who told you? I'm like, shh, I'm listening. And I'm like mad bug-eyed too, so he's just looking at me like he's something out of a fucking horror movie. How did you know that? Are you in my fucking thoughts? Are you in my thoughts? And at the time, this Uchiha crest was like on the window, so I pointed to the window. I looked back at him, I'm like, if you know, you know. He's just asking mad questions and yapping, and I'm just like, shut up. They're speaking. He's like, dog, who's speaking? I'm like, I don't know, but I think they know us. You said you wanted Xanax before, right, Jolo? He's like, yeah. I'm like, here, come here, let me show you something. I go in my nightstand, I pull out a bag of 11 bars of Xanax. I'm like, come here, Jolo, come here. And then he's okay. I go to the bathroom, I fucking pour 11 bars of Xanax down the toilet right in front of him, and I flush that shit. And then he's like, dog, why the fuck would you do that? You flushed 11 bars of Xanax. I'm like, yeah, Jolo, imagine that. Imagine choosing to live, right? That's crazy. I just saved my life. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine choosing to live, Jolo? And then he's like, what the fuck? I'm just stepping closer and closer to him. And then eventually he sits on the couch. I'm like, that shit ruined my fucking life, Jolo. I'm like, my job, the girl, everything, like, my health is all down the fucking toilet. If I just did that, if I flushed 11 bars of Xanax down the toilet after being on it for so long, you should think about that. Think about that, Jolo. And then he starts kind of expressing his feelings of not really wanting to be here anymore. And I'm like, oh, why? Because it would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? It would be so much easier if we didn't have to worry about any of this, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you would only think, Jolo. Look at us. How many times have we tried to off ourselves and we're still here? What happens? More complications in life after you fail an attempt. You would only think it would be as easy as just ceasing to exist. It's not. It's not. For fuck's sake, I met Jolo in the loony bin. So there's some context for our relationship. Anyway, I'm like, everything is a choice. You choose to feel this way by not doing anything about it. Yeah, I don't know. At some point, we both ended up feeling like this crazy presence smack middle in the room. And we both could have sworn that it was God. Like, it was God himself. Just plop center of the room. And I don't care what you believe in. I'm just telling you what we experienced on mushrooms right now. The two of us, both combined, experienced the same presence in the room. So do with that information as you will. I remember like going up to walls and just like putting my ear against the wall, and I would hear like the spirits and the voices of the fallen. I refer to them as just talking to me through the wall. There would be like hot spots, and it was crazy. But yeah, they would just keep giving more and more information, and it's not really an audible thing. It's more of a frequency that the mushrooms will lead you to. But I don't know. There's a lot to unpack from this in itself. But hey, I don't even know. I just wanted to yap today, so I hope you enjoyed.